Hi and welcome back. In this video, I wanted to show you a couple of commands that you can run in order to navigate your computer using the terminal. These can be quite handy. The commands I'm going to show you are only going to work on Mac OS X and on Linux, but I'm going to give you the Windows equivalents as well. So when you are on Mac OS X or Linux, you can type pwd, and that tells you the folder you're currently in. So in my case, I am in /users/jslvtr. On Windows, this will be dir for directory. If you want to move to a different folder, you can do cd for change directory, and then you can type whatever folder you want. So for example, if you wanted to go to your desktop, you could type desktop. Notice how now I am in my desktop here, and if I type pwd, I am now moved to my desktop. On Windows, this would be chdir for change directory. Now, of course, the desktop folder that we've just moved into is inside users/jslvtr. Otherwise, it would tell us folder not found. For example, I'm now in my desktop. If I try to do cd into an ASDF folder, it says no such file or directory. So you have to make sure that the folder you want to move into is inside the folder you're currently in. However, you can also choose to move to a particular folder even if it's not inside where you currently are. In order to do that, you have to tell your computer the absolute path to that folder, starting at the very root. In Windows, you would do change directory of C, going to C/users/something, or C/data/whatever. And in OS X and in Linux, you do CD /, which means the root of your computer. And then you could do something like library, Python, and so forth. Then you can change directly into this folder. This is where I am now. As a small aside, if you want to go back to the previous folder, you can just type cd-. And this, I don't think, works on Windows. It just works on Mac OS X and on Linux. If you want to look at what currently is in one of your folders, all you have to do is type the ls command. On Windows, this will also be the dir command. Okay. So let's go over to one of the scraping books project, for example, that we created earlier on in the course. Then we can type the ls command and we can see that we've got a few things here. Some of these things are newer. You may not have seen them yet because they are part of the asynchronous development section. The project here has been modified slightly, but don't worry, all is good. What we've got in the course has not changed. This is just some new stuff that I've added. And you can see that we've got here app.py, we've got this async request.py, menu.py, and so forth. There's even some folders you may not have seen before, like this PyCache folder. That is fine, you don't have to worry about the PyCache, it's just a Python thing. Now, if we wanted to run this project here, we could do that in my case, I'm going to type Python 3.6 because I remember when we started this project, I was using Python 3.6. Python 3.6 menu.py, and then our application starts running, and we've got some extra logging that we added later on. I know that you've maybe not seen this, but nonetheless our program starts working, and then you'll see the menu appear and you can interact with it. This is just a program running as if it was running inside PyCharm. Now it's running inside this text console that you've got here. However, we had to run Python 3.6 in order to run this project. If we wanted to create a virtual environment for this project so it was separate from the system installation of Python 3.6, we can do that. All we have to do is say virtualenv vm --python equal Python. I'm going to use Python 3.7 for this virtual environment. This is going to create a brand new virtual environment. And now when we type ls, we can see that there is a virtual environment folder that wasn't here before. This is the Python installation that we have copied into here. And it doesn't have any of the libraries that it had before. So if we activate, by doing this, remember to do, apologies, VM scripts activate.bat on Windows. Don't do that on Mac, but do that on Windows. So if we activate and we try to run our menu, now it says, no module named whatever it is that we needed. Right? And again, this has changed slightly since the last time that we saw this project, but nonetheless, Beautiful Soup would also be another one that wouldn't be found. If so, all you have to do is pip install and install everything that it asks you as it asks you it. We can then repeat. And by the way, I'm cycling through old commands by pressing the up arrow in my console. Now it says requests couldn't be found, so we can install requests. We can also install Beautiful Soup 4. And I think that's it. There you have it. Now the program is running. We've installed all the libraries in our virtual environment that we needed, and our program is now working. So that's all we need in order to make it work. Now, if you type pip freeze, this is going to give you the libraries that are installed currently in your version of Python that you're using. The version of Python we're using is the one in our virtual environment. So this gives us the libraries installed in our virtual environment. Notice how they are in the format of iohttp == 3.0.5. So we've got version 3.0.5 of this library. We've got version 2.18.4 of requests, and so forth. And it's fairly frequent when using virtual environments to actually save these into a file. And just so you don't forget that these are the versions you've got installed in this virtual environment. When you give this program to someone else, they can then go and install the exact same versions. So we can create a new file and put this content in it. You can do that in PyCharm, or you can do that in any other editor. Or if you want, if you're using Mac OS X or Linux, you can do pip freeze into requirements.txt. All this does is it says all the output of pip freeze, instead of printing it out, dump it into this new file called requirements.txt. Okay. Now, if you were to open requirements.txt, you'd see that it contains all of this stuff. Okay. In Mac OS X and Linux, you can do the cat command in order to see the contents of a file. So as you can see, when I do cat requirements.txt, you can see the contents of the file here. Now, why is this useful? If now I'm going to go and do pip install, if you share this with someone else, they're going to have to go and do pip install iohttp. I mean, do they do this? Do they do == 305 in order to install the specific version? Yeah. This is what you do in order to install version 3.0.5 of this library. But if you share with them this requirements.txt file, they can actually do -r requirements.txt. So pip install -r requirements.txt, and then they're going to go through and install all of these libraries, these specific versions of them. So as you can see, this can be really good to share everything you need for a project with someone else. For example, if you're working with someone else or you want to participate in some sort of team, you're probably going to want a requirements.txt file so that you can share it with one another and make sure that you're all using the same versions of libraries. If one person in a team is using a specific version and someone else is using a different version, you may actually encounter some inconsistencies and some things that may work differently. So make sure to not do that. And by having a requirements.txt file is a great first step towards making sure that you're all on the same page. So that is how you would install everything from a requirements.txt file. And as you can see, it's all pretty straightforward. Over the next few videos, we're going to look at something even more important when working with these projects. And also, this new thing that we're going to look at in the next few videos is actually the recommended way of managing projects and dependencies in Python as of Python 3.7. So stay with me, and I'll see you on the next video.